back to Shall We Say It? It's Valentina here with my good friend Einstein.
Yo,
Um, we both are having some rare moments today, so bear with us. If we haven't said this before, this is just a forewarning. All of our recordings, all of our episodes, they are definitely not scripted, and we kind of just go off the cuff of what we're thinking. So, um, anytime you have any questions or anything, or send us questions, just keep that in mind. So today, our episode is kind of one of those we just decided to talk about it topics. So I'm going to start out with the definition. The definition is of the word privilege. Now, the word privilege is started in the 1900s, and it's an adjective, and it's having special rights, advantages, or immunities. And it was used in the 19th century that only the privileged had the right to vote. Um, synonyms, synonyms of this is wealthy, rich, affluent, prosperous. And to get even more into the today, we're definitely talking about white privilege. Does it exist in a society, and what our thoughts are on it? I guess we'll start over here with Einstein on white privilege.
I mean, I have to say, I truly think it does exist. Whether some people are aware of the fact that it does or not is a different story, but you're almost bored into it. Like, you can walk into a building or a restaurant and not have people stare at you. You can walk up to the counter at Macy's to pay for your clothes and not have the person ask you, hmm, are you gonna be able to cover that?
Or you're not.
No shit. I just picked up clothes and walked up here and went. I don't check the price. I just swipe the card. I'm not Ray Shrimmer. I know how much the shit I buy costs.
Or even walking out of a store and having, to show your receipt to prove that you paid for things. Most people take that for granted, being able to walk out of a store knowing that they're not going to be stopped and asked, hey, can I see your receipt? Can I see proof that you paid for everything in your hand? Or basic things like that. And that's where it really stems from. A lot of people of color definitely use the word white privilege, stemming from the fact that there's so many things that people who are not colored or ethnic get to do every day, and quote unquote these special rights that they have that they don't realize that they have, and they don't think twice about. So I guess we're on the thing we both think they exist.
I'm just gonna say, when the document was written that founded our nation with all of its principles and liberties and rights and equalities, you have to remember at that point in time, a lot of people in this country weren't included in that discussion.
So you would even say that white men have even more privilege than white women at that point. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, at the founding of our country, it was white men who were privileged. And that's exactly what it is. They had this right, this born right that other people didn't have. And it still exists today. I mean, they pretty much get born into a world where they have special rights that not everyone is granted. They have the right to go down the street without people thinking that they're up to no good.
Listen, not even go down the street without people thinking up to no good. What about that swimmer kid that the 20 minutes of action behind the dumpster? This kid got 6 months because the judge didn't want to ruin his future. He raped somebody.
But then
Like,
there's
if you can't tell me that there was I think on the same time there was a football player that had a similar situation, and that kid didn't get 6 months.
and he
What's the
also was
difference there?
the only difference was that he was black. He was a colored guy. And I mean, that's actually quite funny because I actually just read something the other day where someone um it was a longer post, but the synopsis was she said in 7th grade her younger sister, this boy had 2 periods with her, third and seventh, and he would ask her during third period and seventh period every day to go out with him. And she would say no, relentlessly. She didn't give him a reason why. She said no. She didn't want to. And there was one third period. He said, if you tell me no, I'm going to shoot you in 7th period. I have a gun in my locker. She said no, went to the principal. In fact, he did have a gun in his locker. And everyone said, who was to blame for this? And instantly it was that girl who said no. My thing is, and it's white privilege for a guy to say it's someone's fault that you committed an action. It's not your fault. That girl was too drunk, so of course you had to rape her in the back of that dumpster. It's not your fault that, you know, you have such a bright future and she was too drunk and she couldn't say no. Like, that is not your fault. And that goes to show, like, why do some men, and women for that matter, why do some people have this privilege that it's not your fault to commit a crime, it's the other person's fault, because you have so much potential to go so much further. When does it become someone else? And that's like the perfect example of what white privilege is. Regardless if you're white, you're black, in that scenario, that's exactly what it is. When your actions aren't considered your fault based off how you're born and who you are. If you always ask mass shootings by white people, when they say, what caused this, and they analyze it for days about the psychology and people treating them bad. No, their actions is based off of them as a person. Regardless of what happened to them in the past, how they got made fun of, how they got bullied. Your actions is controlled by you, and you only. So, at the same time, that is the definition of white privilege. They don't say the same thing when a black man shoots somebody or whatever, whatnot, or, whatever.
No, because if a black dude go out there and he got medium length dreadlocks, he got tattoos, and he listen to rap music, he go out there and he shoots somebody, they go on the news and they paint the picture like everybody who looks like this person is a bad person. If 4 white guys go out and kidnap a bunch of little girls, hog tie them up, and do all sorts of vile and nasty things because, you know, some of them is some sick individuals. It's just, they're 4 crazy people.
And they
not everybody who looks like this is bad.
And the thing is,
but they were brought up rough. They were abused as children. They grew up poor. Guess what? I know a lot of people that grow up poor. I don't know. They ain't go out and do all of that sick and depraved shit. Ain't nobody justifying that when they out there slinging crack rock on the corner trying to make money to feed their family.
And like the perfect example is, I sent you an article of a Washington man recently who literally saves a lady from rape. And did he commit violence against the guy who raped her? Yes, he did. He did, and it was a black man. And it's so funny because that's not the first thing you get when you open the article. The first thing you get from an article was, we caught the stabbing victim, this black young man who stabbed this guy. Not, we captured someone who, and they of course failed to say that, you know, he turned himself in too, but they failed to say this man saved this girl from a rape but just happened to stab the person who was raping her. Let's not include that, and we're not going to include the white man's name who raped the lady because we want his privacy, but we don't want the privacy of the person who stabbed him protecting her. Like, that is mind-blowing to me. Like, you don't see the difference even in the media. Like, how don't you see that white man who was raping this girl had white privilege, this underage girl has white privilege, but yet this black man who saved this girl and happened to stab the guy, okay, I'm not saying that's right, but at the same time, but it's okay for you to slander his name all over the media's plane about him and his actions, but then leave in a small description at the end of the article that, oh yeah, this occurrence happened, but we're not going to give the name of this white man who, you know, raped this underage girl for his privacy.
That goes to the whole thing of, what's the first thing you see when you look at an article and you notice that's a glaring difference? It's the picture of the person. Typically when it is a ethnic person or a minority, if possible, it is a mugshot. whether this is, it does not matter what they are in the paper for. It is a mugshot. Like people are murdered, and the thing that they show on the news or put in the paper is a mugshot. But everybody else it's a headshot. It's them playing tennis, or it's them at the country club. Well, what about graduation pictures? What about pictures with family or pictures at successful events in these other people's lives? Why is it a mugshot?
And that goes to show the small amount of privilege, even within the social, not the social, but the media world, that people get that consideration. I mean, the consideration that instantly we don't have to look up a police record to see if you have a mugshot, or even if it's not a mugshot, have you ever noticed how much worse pictures there are of people who are of color in there? Whether it's them that, even if it's a joke, a gang sign, or something like that, because I don't remember which exact story it was, but they literally took this person, the only picture that it was a Halloween costume of them in gang sign, and placed that up as the picture of the person, when that was literally a Halloween costume. But there was 100 good pictures you could have picked, but that one made the person look so much more, quote unquote, stereotypical black, so you used it. The media used it overall and mass produced that image of that person.
Yeah.
I just don't understand like why that happens, and they usually don't do that to white people until they know they're guilty, or they know that it's something 20 times worse, or whatever it is. Until society casts them as a bad person is when the media starts casting them as a bad person, or a black person is instantly casted as a bad person, regardless of the angle of the story.
Because we criminals, we gangbangers, we thugs, we hoodlums. It's the expectation. Like, that's part of where the privilege lies. The privilege is in the expectation. Like, if you are a white person that went to school, got good grades, you played sports, you stayed out of trouble, you went on to college, you got a good job, you started a family, and you lived your life. That's what you were expected to do. Not many people were surprised or really, like, astounded that you did.
But here's the shocking thing. Throughout history, and not even just like now, there are so many stories of normal black families, went to college, got out of college, got a good job, had kids, have successful kids that's on their way to law school, whatever. And those people are never portrayed in the media. You don't see them. You don't hear from them. And it's not that they're undercover, because they're not. They're just living their life. But my thing is, that is not what's expected, so that is not what's shown. That's not what society sees.
No, we want basketball wives.
Hip hop wives, basketball wives.
Hip hop wives. Real housewives. Listen, I'm just gonna say, if that's what you want to watch for mindless television, for pure enjoyment, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you, but please, stop living your lives vicariously through these scripted lives that you see on TV. So much of that drama ain't real. That's why 1 minute they fighting each other on the show, and then y'all see them at one of the award shows sitting together and taking pictures. Stop getting caught up in all that, because they get caught up into it too. Then they be with this person and that person. And
reality TV is fake, including black reality TV.
But yeah, it's like, but you notice, like, we don't put the deep stuff on there. Like, you have travel, you watch Travel Channel, you watch the Discovery Channel, you watch the educational programming, and a lot of it is a bunch of old Mr. Rogers looking mobs just sitting there telling us what we're supposed to know about life. Where they're empowering African Americans in the media? It's like, we see more powerful black people on commercials than we do on TV shows.
That is so true.
Everybody know the dude with Ball State's voice.
That is true. I mean, and I don't know, that's what it comes down to. I mean, I always say it's kind of hard to pinpoint television, only because television, I mean, whether I like it or not, stereotypes, there is a place. I'm not saying I like it, but there is a place and time for stereotypes within television. So it's one of those things where where even if I don't agree with the fact that we use stereotypes, because I'm a big advocate of not using stereotypes. I mean, you do only have a certain amount of time to portray a character, and there are so many times where people use stereotypes to portray a minor character within 5 seconds.
I mean, I guess it is true. A lot of times we do see it, and we look at the comparison people and go, "That's not even like where the hell did you get this information?"
But at the same time, I think when I say stereotypes, I should have honed on this fact in television stereotypes. Sorry, I didn't. If you even like go across to European and Canadian television versus American television, American television hones in on the stereotypes that we think of as black and white, where other countries in their stereotypes is more as they're capturing a goofy person by them cracking jokes within a second that you meet them. That's what I mean. Stereotypes is, and they want to capture that that's the funny friend or that's the awkward friend. And the thing is, you can capture that without using the stereotypes that we consider black and white or ethnic stereotypes in 2 seconds. And that's actually the way to do it. But at the same time, like I said, I do see the necessity in television, but I don't understand the basketball wipe thing. That actually makes my skin crawl. Like, why make black women look like they're... It's like, it's a circus. Each time you watch it, it's a circus. They're rowdy, they're loud, they're everything you think a black woman should be.
But what do you think of when you see it? She's like, ooh, them uncivilized creatures.
And
it's hard. And some of them in real life, they're actually pretty decent human beings. And it's like,
and it's the fact that they have to put on that show just to make money. It's crazy that these are intelligent women. Intelligent, they are business savvy, they know how to make a buck, and literally they put on this show of being these loud, obnoxious, hate-filled women because that's what society wants to see. So they give it to them to make the easy money. It's white privilege to not have to act that way to be able to make money in 2 seconds. To be able to go out and make money because of the skills you have and not the way you act on television. Your actual acting skills.
I mean, when Miley Cyrus did all of that, when she went on with Ratchet and Ghetto, people lost their motherfucking minds. Like, nobody could understand how this Disney princess, this Disney golden girl was so wild, and they blamed it on her dating all of those rappers and hanging around black guys. Maybe Miley just crazy.
And that's again the same example we were just talking about earlier, though. How they're blaming her actions on someone else. Her actions is based off of who she's hanging out with, not because that's who she was. That's who she wanted to be. That's not why she's hanging out with that black guy. That rapper, that's why she's popping Molly.
She popping Molly because fucking swinging on a wrecking ball. Like, anybody that's willing to make a video swinging naked on a wrecking ball has to be on Molly or trying to make a prank video. She was not making a prank, so I'm assuming that she was stoned off her gourd. But guess what? People loved it. Why? Because it's Miley. So white privilege, because if you had some minority singer come out there on a wrecking ball butt naked, all everybody would talk about is the fact that they can't believe she came out there naked.
And let's take that a step further because you just said that. That goes right into white privilege. Why can this white entertainer do whatever the hell she wants and still be making money, but yet if that was a colored person doing the same thing, they're like, what the heck are they doing? And they instantly stop. Now, I mean, the same doesn't go for some crazy things that some hip hop artists goes because there is a really strong black base with a lot of hip hop artists. But still, why can she go out and do that? But if you saw, I don't know, I'm trying to think of someone off the top of my head, like Ashanti, who's really quiet right now. Say she came in with a wrecking ball and did the same thing, but she still had the same white following, I doubt it. They'd be like that crazy black chick.
Might come in with an AK. I don't know about a wrecking ball.
Look, I just had to put up like something. I had to come up with someone. I couldn't even think of like an R&B artist at the time. Ashanti. Yeah, that's what I can remember.
Think about the naturalist movement when a lot of the minority celebrities were starting to just go natural, not wearing makeup, not getting their hair straightened or combed or dyed or pressed or anything. Mm-hmm. And the flack that people gave them for not wearing makeup, for not presenting themselves in the way that they should, being in their position. But I mean, I like to point out that people love rock bands and they love also, even I liked Uncle Bernie too. Like, I was feeling the burn, but he looked like he wore the same suit to every debate that he was in. Nobody ever told him to change his suit. But if these ladies decide that they don't want to wear makeup, then everybody, there's a debate on that.
There's a debate if it's right, if they should.
So, why do you care?
It's one of those things, I mean, it's a privilege, but we still have to live up to the image that people set out for us. I'm not saying we have to, but we feel like we have to. And society thinks we have to.
All I gotta say is they ain't telling, nobody was telling Uzi or Donna that she had to go put on stuff. Somebody should have told Barbara Bush.